All right, back to business. It's Tuesday, and well, I'm still wearing the same T-shirt. Don't mind me, I do that sometimes. How are you guys doing today? Just a quick one. I wanted to talk about what you call it: sorrow, sadness, anger. Okay, and unforgiveness. I was going through the scriptures, and that really got to me, and I said, okay, let me share that, because a lot of us are actually suffering from that. Have you ever tried to forgive someone? I mean, a lot of times when people hurt us, okay, and that you cannot stop, because even Jesus, the perfect master, said that you will get hot will come. Okay, someone is just gonna get you angry, and I mean real hot. I mean, I don't mean someone didn't greet me, someone said this about me. I'm talking about real hot people, really going against you. People, I mean, I once know of someone that was sacked from his place of work because people didn't just like him, and they sacked him. Okay, I mean, that's like real hot. So I'm not talking about these petty hots. I'm talking about real hot. Someone, maybe you have a daughter that you've been grooming and you've been sending her to school and all that, and she's in her final year, and someone just got her pregnant, and she has to leave school, and she has to abandon her education, and the future is just gloomy for her. I mean, that hurt. Okay, so when I mean hurt, I mean someone really hurting you, and you have to forgive people. All right, a lot of times we think and we believe that we've forgiven people, but when we remember those things, or when we see these people, it comes up again. So we begin to wonder what has actually caused that. So I was going through the scriptures, and I found out that the two times that, maybe more than, but the two, how do I call it? The two times that I saw in the scriptures that they talked about anger or being hurt, or when you need to forgive someone, the description that was given, one was given as a cancer. It says that it's like cancer in the bone. The other one that was Jesus. He was teaching the disciples how to forgive, that you have to forgive 70 times 7 times in a day. And then when he said that, they said you need to increase our faith. And then he said, if you have a mustard seed, a faith that is like mustard seed, you can tell a sycamore tree and then to be uprooted and be dumped in the sea. So they were talking about anger, they were talking about unforgiveness, and then he likened how to deal with that to removing a sycamore tree. So we can look at it from anger, from that perspective of a cancer, and then the perspective of a sycamore tree. Now, what is common about these two things? And that's what I quickly want to deal with, because that will help someone here. If you look at cancer, for example, cancer doesn't start big. Cancer starts small, and then it keeps to grow, or they say spreads. Okay, cancer keeps spreading. And one thing you can do with cancer is when it starts, you can actually remove it totally. You can decide. I know of women that had to cut off a breast just to stop cancer, and when they cut off that breast, then the cancer stops. But if you try to heal it, maybe you try to use some medicine. Maybe when you have the pains, you try to use a pain reliever. I know someone that died of cancer because he never knew he had cancer. Every time he had pain, he was treating himself for pain. He was taking pain relievers until the cancer really spread out, and that really took the life of this person. That is exactly what happens when we get angry with people and we don't treat it as cancer. We just treat the pain, okay? And you just go like, okay, I forgive you. God says we should forgive. Okay, you are forgiven, and that's it. And then you bury it. Listen to me. You don't bury cancer. You take it out. All right? You take it out. Taking it out might be painful, might be difficult. It might cost you a lot, but that's the best thing to do. It's just like that sycamore tree. Why didn't Jesus say you need to cut the sycamore tree? No, he said it's like removing. He said you have to uproot the sycamore tree. So when you uproot a tree, it means that you take it from the roots. You take everything that it is. Hasta mañana.
Te voy a preguntar una palabra.
Sí, dime. Sí, da igual.
Grooming. ¿Qué dice?
Grooming. Cuando alimentar. Sí, alimentar. Sí, es alimentar. Okay, sorry for that. I was talking to a friend. Don't worry, I've packed today, but I think I'll continue. Hasta mañana. I'll continue because I started a bit late. So I'm sorry for that. I mean, so as I was saying, so it means that when you want to deal with anger, you have to deal with it as cancer. How do you deal with cancer? You uproot it. You take it out totally. Now, if you keep using pain reliever and you think all things are good, you find out that every time you see that person, every time you remember that incident, what happens? The pain comes back. The pain comes back, and then you wonder, well, I thought I've forgiven this person. So in the real sense, okay, you have not really forgiven that person. Because if you really want to forgive that person, you need to dig deep into what has happened. And that is the problem a lot of us have. We are scared to confront that thing that gets us angry. I mean, I've been there. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not perfect about this. I've been there, that you really find it difficult to confront, that person that is getting you angry. You just sweep it by. You just sweep it under the carpet and go like, well, let him just be. I'll just be on my own. He's on his own. But it doesn't work like that. I'm telling you, every time you see that person, every time you hear about that person, every time the incidents replays in your mind, you get angry, and then it's getting deeper. One funny thing about anger and unforgiveness and bitterness is that it gets stronger. Look at what Jesus was also saying. The sycamore tree, okay? The sycamore tree also gets stronger. And if you look at the sycamore tree, the tree might not be, it's just like a bush, it's just like a thick bush upstairs there. But if you look at the root system, it has a very terrible, complex, root system. So it's like you cutting off the leaves, cutting off the branches, and you don't dig down to get the roots out. Listen to me. If you want to dig down and uproot a sycamore tree, it's going to get dirty. Your hand's going to get dirty. The land's going to, you're going to get to the foundation. You're going to do some digging. A lot of us need to do some digging with people that, have hurt us. You need to confront them. You need to tell them what they've done, that has really gotten you angry. I did that recently. I've had this hurt for a long time, and I just felt like, I can just overcome it. I can just do without it. I can just forget it. But it kept coming. Every time I remember it, every time I see this person, it keeps coming back. And then I stumbled across this, and I found out that in order to overcome this, I need to uproot my sycamore tree and plant it in the sea. One thing you need to know is a sycamore tree cannot grow in the sea. A sycamore tree cannot grow in the sea. So, and it says that you need faith to do that. So my prayer to you is that get that faith, that courage to begin to face everything that gets you angry. If it's somebody, face the person, okay? Face the person. It might be dirty, it might be unpleasant, but you have to do it. You are not doing it because of that person, but you are doing it for yourself, okay? You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your own health. You're doing it for your own future. Wow, there's no one at home. Okay. Good time for me. All right. So you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your future. You're doing it for your own health. Let not that cancer grow in your heart. You need to dig deep, cut it out, and get your power back. Listen, before I go, every time that you see someone and you get angry, do you know what happened? You just gave your power out to that person. So for how long are you going to give your power out to people? For how long will you allow people control the situation of your heart? It's time to take it back, okay? It's time to dig deep. It's time to uproot them. It's time to uproot the source of that bitterness, and it's time for you to get your power back. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much, and God bless you.